Hey guys, welcome back to Six-Sided Studios for Carlitoclix. I'm your host Carlito.
And I'm Dan Simpson.
And we're going to be bringing to you today a themed game that we played based off of the Marvel comic book event Avengers vs. X-Men.
So we sat down and we played a 1,000-point game of the Avengers versus the X-Men, and I piloted the X-Men and Carlito piloted the Avengers.
That's enough for an introduction here. We're going to take you to our table where we have all the armies laid out, talk about how the game went, the strategies that we employed, and talk about the armies that we played. Talking about the armies that we played, I'll start it off playing the Avengers. So I played the 200-point Avengers movie set 4, the 83-point Captain America, parkour cap, as I call him, the 75-point Doctor Strange, the 103-point giant-sized X-Men Wolverine, the 90-point Incredible Hulk Spider-Man, the new Thing from Galactic Guardians, and the Iron Man, the 200-point Iron Man from the Avengers movie set, 95-point Beast from the giant-sized X-Men set, and I already talked about Spider-Man. So, that was my army, and now let's give you the roster for the X-Men.
Alright, so most of my army came out of the giant-sized X-Men. We've got, Magneto out of there, Psylocke, Rogue Gambit, we have Cyclops and Emma Frost as well, all out of the giant-sized X-Men set. From Galactic Guardians, we have Namor, and then we've got the Fast Forces, Professor X. And the one thing that I sort of want to touch on in my army here is, you can see here I've got the Juggernaut in my army. The reason that we went with the Juggernaut is to fill the place of Colossus, because there is no modern age legal Colossus by himself. There is the Wolverine Colossus, but we didn't want to use that since Wolverine is on the Avengers side of this event. So seeing as Colossus has that power right now, the Juggernaut power, Juggernaut I thought worked perfectly for this themed game.
It was, we felt it was appropriate, and he actually kicked a lot of ass for it.
Yeah.
So right away, we go head-to-head. My guys, I love the strategy that was here. My guys were bunched up in hindering terrain. All my guys with the highest defense at the very front. So it's pretty cool. I had Captain America leading the charge because he was beside Doctor Strange. Well, he has his own energy of reflection, but he's hiding and hindering. He's got a 21 defense all on his own. Iron Man's getting that 21 defense. Same with Thor. All the heavy hitters. Thing was up at the front too with 21 defense. Very powerful, because I knew that if Magneto or Cyclops got a chance to hit, those would be devastating blows. Especially to Captain America doesn't have a lot of damage reducers and stuff. Dana's packing a bit of outwit, a lot of penetrating. So definitely didn't want to give him that chance to hit me with his shooters at first. So I'm right up in his grill, right by his starting area. And then what does Dane do? He outthinks me and he throws the Juggernaut at me with Magneto. And Juggernaut just smashes Captain America, takes him completely out practically, and then uses Psylocke and pulls him back. And then Namor runs in and finishes the job. Yeah. Captain America here completely taken out before he even does anything.
And that's really, one of the great things about having multiple telekinesis is you can do that yo-yo and, not lose a character on that charge and stuff like that.
One of the other things that he did was he noted all the characters I had with outwit and gunned it for them. So Beast took a lot of damage right away so that he wouldn't have that outwit. Yeah. And really weakened him down. That was pretty much Dane's first turn. He actually managed to break my defenses and break my army. Right in the beginning of the game, I really thought I was going to lose. I thought that there was no coming back because I got some heavy pieces, really hurt. But then we go to my turn, and I really couldn't hit the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut actually lasted a long time, but I did take out Emma Frost immediately. Ganged up on her and really took her out. And Namor kind of went up against the Thing, and just like in the comics, Thing started pummeling him to a pulp. He lasted a little while, but the Thing definitely dished out a lot of damage to the point where Namor really couldn't fight back too much.
When it comes to MVPs in your army, I definitely have to give it to the Thing. As we got into the later game, I wasn't able to crack his defense at all, and it was really hard for me to do anything.
You ended up doing no damage to him.
Yeah, exactly.
So here were really the fights. You know, Captain America, got taken out right away, and Emma Frost got taken out right away.
Yeah.
Thor went up against Rogue and Psylocke, and they give him a proper whooping. He got taken down. He did very little damage to them. He only did a bit. You know, you were throwing those multiple penetrating attacks. You did a little bit of damage to yourself in the process, but they took Iron Man, or Captain America, Thor, they took him right down.
And that was sort of something that I thought right off the bat coming into this game is I have the X-Men, I have a lot of people with their team ability. I'm going to be able to push a little bit more and get a little bit more out of them than you will, because I know I'm going to be able to run back and heal at some point.
But that
never really came into play. I ended up pushing them a little bit too hard, I think, and we didn't get to end game really that much.
Yeah. One of the things that really helped you, something that I was really having a hard time overcoming, is your Professor X. Giving all of your guys shape change like that, I had a hard time breaking that. It took a little while. And Professor X was well hidden. He was one of the last models I took out. Another thing you did right away, break down Iron Man. You took him down pretty hard. It was miraculous the way that Iron Man was one of my MVPs, because you had your Magneto and your Cyclops standing up on the elevated terrain. And what did I do with Iron Man? I charged him right in, and they started fighting. Iron Man versus both of them. You took him down. I ended up getting a lucky regen. He healed the full, and he just started blasting. And Iron Man actually single-handedly took down Magneto on his own. Just you roll an 11, bam, 4 damage, and you know, it's hard to come back from that. And he started by beating up on Cyclops. That was actually the original. He went after Cyclops, then Magneto went to back him up, and then it was up. I didn't really have any other flyers. All my other guys were tied up. So it was Iron Man versus Magneto and Cyclops.
And that move to bring Magneto in to sort of save Cyclops was because I really wanted to keep that ability to heal a little bit better. And I thought, you know, charging in on almost full Magneto with the Cyclops. Was he full?
Yeah, he did not take a single damage.
He was full until he met up with Iron Man, And I thought they were going to be able to take Iron Man down no problem, but like you said, the lucky regen, and he just was able to take them out.
And again, just like in the comics, Iron Man took down Magneto. Actually, Magneto was one of the last standing people, but he just wasn't very powerful. He was on his last few clicks. Took him out, took Cyclops out of there. But back to, the main fight, which was right here, where Namor wasn't doing too much, but they really kicked the crap out of Thor. You had Psylocke and the Juggernaut, or Colossus, up against pretty much my entire army. And Colossus, he took down Doctor Strange right away. Beast didn't last very long. You shot him with Magneto, and then it was just a matter of time. While the Thing was a really high defense, and he kind of ended up mopping it up, he didn't do all that much damage in the beginning.
He was just, honestly, he was soaking up a lot of firepower from my army. He was really hard to crack, and I was sort of focusing on him a little bit more than I definitely should have been, because I thought that Wolverine would be easier to take down once I had taken down the Thing, but I never got there. Mistake on my part. I definitely should have taken down Wolverine, because came in with those blaze claws and just ripped me up.
That was a huge thing. You gunned it for my outwitters, but Spider-Man hiding in the back had actually survived. So in the very end of the game, who was really doing all the damage, because Iron Man was still really hurt in the end of it, and where Thing was really soaking up more firepower. The guys who were doing all the damage for me was Wolverine and Spidey Strike Force. Spidey outwit, charge, hit him. Wolverine comes in, charge, hit him. I took down the Juggernaut like that. Spidey outwitted, missed. Wolverine came in and blazed him for 6, and then it was only a matter of time. He dropped shortly after. They actually, this team here that I had took down the Juggernaut, Gambit and Rogue and Psylocke all on their own. Thing took a little while to take down your Namor, and then it was only a matter of time. You had your Professor X, who couldn't actually do damage to Thing, and Magneto was at a point where he really couldn't do damage to Thing, and he couldn't afford to pulse wave because he had too many guys. He was weakened. You'd be hurting your own guys. So very tight game. In the beginning, I really thought I was going to win, but a couple key pieces like Iron Man pulling more than his own weight, and the Thing soaking up a lot of firepower. But Wolverine and Spidey doing the most damage. Those 4 pieces were what I was left with, and the Avengers actually ended up taking it home.
One last thing that I sort of like tried to do there was I tried to get Psylocke with her exploit weakness in there to try and be able to get through the Thing, because nobody on my team at that point had anything left to really crack his defenses. But she just never got the shots in, never got a chance.
And you know, that was actually a pretty long fight too, because it took a while for me to actually, she was hiding in the hindering. It took a while for me to break that defense and take her down. So there was a lot of, you could still use a lot riding on Thing. You know, a nice Blades Claws exploit, take him off those impervious clicks, and he could have dropped.
Just never happened for me though.
Yeah, didn't quite hit, didn't connect. I mean, but still a great game. You know, those good hits you got in the very beginning. The first 4 shape changes you made, really.
Really saved my bacon.
Right after the 3rd turn, I was fighting a really uphill battle, and it was very, very close. It's just once I started doing damage, it started to roll, because the X-Men, the way that they play is they're all very front-loaded. So when Magneto took that shot, when Cyclops took that big hit, not very many characters can survive getting hit for a blaze for 6, but when Juggernaut took that big hit, Namor took that big hit, they all just started dropping. Where I guess Iron Man had an ability to fight back a little bit more. Really, my guys, once they got hit, they dropped immediately after, as is. But,
I really tried to focus fire on the guys and make sure I was dropping one at a time.
Is usually my favorite strategy, as is. You know, like cut the activations off, take them down.
Exactly. Overall, it was a fantastic game. Really fun, really flavorful, and accurate to the comic books. And it's funny, you know, we tried to make the armies very accurate to the comic books, but in the end, sort of the fights unintentionally became comic book accurate as well, which was really, you know, an interesting part of the game.
Very cool game. I would love to do a lot more like these and do a lot more videos on stuff like these. So definitely tell us what you think. I mean, doing these theme games, I know there are a lot of people out there who actually only play HeroClix for theme, which is very cool too. But awesome game in the end. Avengers in your stupid face.
Take down the stinking muties.
Stinking muties with the help of 2 mutants. But that was that. Thanks for coming on by to Carlitoclix. Hope to see you next time. Thank you very much.